Hello and welcome to SOVL. SOVL is a turn-based strategy game that fields two armies against one another. So imagine your medieval or Renaissance style forces, get sword and shield guys, bows and arrows, a couple handgunners, but then also cuts in fantastical elements. So you get all the regular armies, and then there's trolls on the flank, giants and sorcerers throwing fireballs around. So you'll very quickly get a gist of the combat mechanics. In the beginning of the campaign, I'll do a little bit of kind of tutorial stuff. SOVL unfortunately doesn't have a tutorial, so explaining some of the baseline mechanics is quite useful. But then after the first battle in the first part or so, it will get to more familiar territory, and the veterans who already seen it all will know where they are. We'll be playing, as you've seen from the title and thumbnail, as the Darkborn Elves, specifically the Darkborn Priestess. So starting with a... She's a bit unique, and I'll go over why in a moment, but we'll be playing on difficulty 5, so enemies rally. As you play for these campaigns, you'll unlock higher and higher difficulties. 5 is probably, I'd argue, the most crucial one, because it allows enemies to return to combat after they run. What that means I'll explain in a moment, but it's where we want to play, and that's how we're going to be setting it up. Yep, so we come to the most important selection in the game, our starting two units. Now the Darkborn Priestess comes with a unit of her own, as all characters do, and bizarrely for a mage character, she actually starts in a melee unit, the unit of Darkborn Witches. So they're quite mobile, they're hard hitting, have a high number of attacks, but they're very fragile, so we've got to be careful with them. So to supplement that, we'll take a ranged unit, so we've got melee and ranged, which place those crossbows are quite nice. We come to the most important decision throughout the campaign, our starting two units. Now the reason I say the Darkborn Priestess is a bit unique is that she's a wizard kind of character that starts in a melee unit. She's accompanied by a regiment of Darkborn Witches, so they've got two hand weapons. They have a high number of attacks and are quite maneuverable, but very fragile in exchange. So we've got a melee unit, so we want something to supplement that. We're going to take a unit of Darkborn crossbows, so ranged. And for our second choice, I think the last time we played through the campaign we did all cavalry, so we'll avoid that rather. We're going to play with the Hydra. Has a very kind of unique special property to it, which I'll go over in a moment. So there's our army. It's a nice mixed bag there. Ranged melee monster. Have a look at Act 1. So this is our campaign map. Our objective is we're going to start on the left and make our way left to right through these stopping points until we get to this boss over here, and then fight for the boss and we'll get to Act 2. Now, I'll kind of go through which each of these are. So the battles will pitch your army against the enemy army, which you're rewarded with gold and experience. What you get gold for? Well, you can use gold in these little armories here, the shops where you can buy new units or upgrade the ones you already have. The question mark dice are random events. Difficult to describe what they are in advance because they're a vast smorgasbord of potential options. You can come across against a holy lake that bestows a blessing on the unit. Forgotten Tomb, you can risk sending guys in who might die, but they might bring out treasure. An army, just a random wandering giant force that you have to defeat stuff, so it's all over the place, pretty interesting. We'll play through a couple of them as we go through. Otherwise, we get these elite battles, which are standard battles but tougher in exchange for more gold. And last but not least are the campsites, these tents. You don't face an enemy army, you don't get any gold, but in exchange, everyone in your army gets a round of healing, so they're resting at a camp. And you're given a choice between either a point of experience or a second round of healing. Typically you want to avoid going to these if you can, because they don't generate any gold, and the more gold you generate, the more you can buy and upgrade units. The easier the campaign is, the more gold you can generate. It kind of kicks off a snowballing effect, which allows you to have an easier time in the campaign. So our objective is to get through this really while taking as many fights as possible. The random events are nice, but there's a lot more guaranteed value out of the battles. So if we have a look through, we can get 2 here. A random event, we get stuck on this downward path, which place we're going to go through a lot of random events, which is a bit unfortunate, so probably not down there. If we head up here, we get 3 fights in a row, which is very cool. We get to there, we can come down here, which is 2 elites, but in exchange it's forced campsite, random event, so that's not great. Or we can go up, which is a fight, 1 random event, we can go fight, elite, and then we can take this fight here rather than shop. So I think that's by far our best path. We'll go up the north end there. Have a quick peek at our army. Here's our army. We have our Callista Skin Tearer, the Darkborn Priestess. We'll go over what these stats mean and when we get into the first battle. Our accompanying crossbows and our Skull Worm. which is a nice name, but I think we can do better. All these can be names. So think about Hydras, I always think of the Lernian Hydra. So I'm just going to do Lerny. Hello, Lerny. Yeah, that's what we'll run with. We'll go into our first battle. Lernaean, I think it's the pronunciation, isn't it? It's from the Greek. We're going to fight Orc Scouts. Okay, so the entirety of the game is predicated upon the rolling of 6-sided dice. So all the mechanics are decided. So I rolled a dice, the enemy rolled a dice, I rolled a 2, they rolled a 5. We rolled that to determine who gets to go first. They rolled a 5, they're going first. By going first, it just means they get to activate one of their units first, not their whole army goes first. So you'll see the turn-based nature of it in a moment. We're in the deployment phase, you can move your guys around. I'll explain what terrain does later. The only trick I will point out at this point doesn't explain this anywhere, so you can move them around normally if you just drag and click. If you hold the shift key and do this, you can spin. So for whatever reason you want to orient a unit like that, you can. Be a bit silly for our purposes, so we'll just go forward. As for our deployment, ordinarily with these scouts, you'll probably have a fast unit on one of these flanks. So to be a bit clever, what you can do is outposition them by putting something in the middle that you intend to flank them with. So if I have the Hydra in the centre and then I have the witches, say, about here, what should happen, if we're lucky, is the fast unit will come barreling its way down here to hit them, and I can pop the Hydra into their flank, which would be nice and devastating. Crossbows can just be there. That's exactly what happened. We have Orc Warriors, so a brick of 15 big infantry, and Boar Riders. So that's effectively, they're on pigs, but it's the Orc equivalent of cavalry. So we'll do this, we'll let them come forward into us. So what I'll do is instead, I'll select one of my units to move. You can move up to points you can see there. Ordinarily for infantry it's 8, but our Darkborn Elves here are swift, so we're basically playing Dark Elves there. Plus one movement, so they're faster than the Orcs, which is nice. In terms of what we can do, you want to use the X and C keys. These are the only 2 keys you'll really be using. They're the most important things in the game. So the X key gives away your charge radius. Effectively, if there was anything in this blue arc at the end of the phase, if I did this, there you go, I would be able to charge that unit of Orc Warriors when the next charge, because you go charge, strategic combat phase. The strategic phase is this bit where we do all the moving and stuff. So we'll do a combat phase if there's anyone in fighting, and we'll go back around to charge. If I wanted to, I could charge them. I'm not going to charge a unit of crossbows, and of course that would be rather silly. We'd lose a fight badly. So I'm just going to move to there. By holding the X key, I can see mine. By holding the C key, I can see theirs. So this is what they can reach in the charge phase. As long as I'm out of the blue arc, I'm fine. They can't charge me, so we're safe. The other thing you can do is you can hold the Shift key and use X and C to see your ranged options. So this is my crossbow unit. Anything within the green zone, I'll be able to target the ranged attack. So the cover here is serving to block my radius. I can see into the trees, but not beyond them. But obviously these Orc Warriors are well within range, so that's a good spot. Now, in terms of shooting, so the way this works is you take the number 7 and you subtract your skill from the number to determine what your hit roll is. I'm using air quotations with my fingers. So here we hover and it says 3+. The reason it says that is because we're skill 4, so 7 minus 4 is 3, 3+. 3+ means that on the roll of a 6-sided dice, any result of a 3 or more is a success. So 3, 4, 5 or 6 we count as a hit. So we've got 10 crossbows here, we're going to be firing a bolt each, so we get 10 shots with 3s to hit. We roll terribly, but we get 3 hits. And after that, the enemy rolled. So after we get our hits, we rolled 1, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 3, 3, 4. So the 3, 3, 4 hit. Would have done a lot better there, maybe they'll do better later. We get 3 hits. The enemy then, as we've hit them, the enemy has an opportunity to roll a save, so a ranged save in this instance. To do that, it compares the power of the attack against the defense of the enemy. So the enemy was defense 4, see the Orc Warriors there, and my crossbows are power 3. So in this case, defense is superior to power, meaning they save on a 3+, or a 3, 4, 5, 6 will allow them to save. It represents the defense being better. They have better than not odds of saving the incoming attack, which is perfectly reasonable. So they rolled 3, 3, 2. 3s are good enough, so they just got away with it, and one Orc Warrior got pelleted by crossbow bolts and died where he stood. Forward come these pests. This rock is going to be a nuisance, but I think I can get around it just about. So obviously the plan here was genius. I could do this and I can easily charge them. So I can draw line of sight, no problem. They can't see me. What might scupper me is this rock in the way. So something you have to keep in mind is that you have to be able to draw a straight line from the center of your unit to the center of the flank of the enemy you're charging. So if you hover over an enemy, you can see their flanks. They have a front, 2 flanks and a rear, so those are their facings. As long as you're the majority in one of these, you don't have to be. So if I did this, for instance, I'll Just give you what. So if I did about that, so obviously I'm somewhat in the front arc, somewhat in the side arc, but as long as you're mostly in the side, you'll be okay. Now for our purposes, I don't want them to be able to see me, because if they can, they're going to get really nasty. They can just counter-charge me and it will be in the front, which defeats the purpose of our trying to set up this flank. What I'm going to try and do is set it up in such a way that I can get to them. I can see them there, and I want to be able to draw a straight line from here to there without that annoying rock in the way. It's going to be tough. It's about as far as I can twist there. I'll just get as far forward as I can. So I'm angling in this weird way because I want to try and give it the best odds of going from there to there. I think I'm okay. If we follow the line through, does it touch that? I don't think so. I think we'll just about get away with it. So we'll give that a go. I'm beyond their range. I can clearly see them. Good. Try that. That leaves our witches and the priestess here. So the priestess, Callista here, has got an ability, Shadow Bolt. Just pick an enemy unit and fire 3 guaranteed hits of power 4. We may as well. We're not saving it for anything. Comes some dark magic. The enemy gets their save. Now, Ball Riders, they do take a wound because they have superior defense to the attack. So power 3, defense 5, save on 3+. The one is a fail, but they have 2 wounds each because they're tough. They're cavalry. They're difficult to bring down. So they're still alive. I have no intention of engaging them with a melee unit, so I'll just have you start coming over here. Yes, this unit can see me, of course, but I should be able to stop them. I'll show you how in a moment. Turn 2, there's no combat, so we skip it. We go to the charge phase. This unit is declared a charge on me. Fantastic, we've managed it. So the enemy has charged us, and it's going to be a flank charge because I gave them the side up there, which would be terrible. I can't even flee when frenzied. Good news is, however, because I set my Hydra up in such a way that I can put a stop to this, I can intercept them. Any charge into the flank or rear counts as an intercept. Number of benefits to that, but one of the big ones is that any charge the enemy is trying to perform is cancelled. They can't do it, so they can't charge me there, and they can't see me to counter-charge, so they're just going to have to stand there and suck it up. Otherwise, that's the only charge I want, so in you go, Lerny. Forward come these Orc Warriors. I don't want to engage Orc Warriors with a unit of crossbows. They're a dedicated melee unit, and I'm ranged. I'll just lose, so let's stand and shoot them immediately. Much better, 9 of 10 hits. Killing, they save amazingly, so we're slowly chopping through them, and we're going to position ourselves to get out of their shooting radius because it would be, frankly, suicidal to remain there. Perfect. I'm going to trust that the Lerny can deal with that, and there's a reason for that, so what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to have the witches charge up here to start menacing the Orc Warriors. Fire off another Shadow Bolt. Whoosh. Oh, Shadow Bolt's power 4. Interesting. So yeah, because it's power 4 against defense 4, then saving 4+. Right, our first close combat here, melee combat. How does this work? So, unlike shooting, close combat doesn't use the 7- skill trick to determine hit rolls. Rather, it compares the skill of the 2 combatants to determine the hit chance. So, Lerny's skill 4, the Ball Riders here is skill 3. Lerny has superior skill to his opponent, which means he hits on 3+. 3, 4, 5, 6 succeed. So again, it represents the skill of our guy being better than the enemy. He has a better than not chance of landing the hits. So we have 5 attacks, you can determine from the profile here. 5 attacks when we go in, so 5 attacks with 3+ chance to hit. Hitting 4 times, fantastic. And then we're power 6 on the charge. So I'm just going to let this roll out for a moment, and I'll show you what these mean. Okay, a number of things happened in quick sequence now, I'll explain it now. But effectively, we did our attacks, which is fine. We got 4 hits. The enemy then rolled their saves. We're power 5 base. But then Fangs here, if you hover over the abilities of your units, you can see what they do. So Fangs, charge bonus +1 power. So on the charge we went from 5 to 6, which is crucial because the Ball Riders had a defense of 5. So power 6 against defense 5 means our power is superior. It reduced their save to 5+, so only a 5 or 6 count as a passed save. So in this case they rolled 1, 5, 5, 4. The 2 5s passed, they saved those 2, but the 1 and the 4 failed because we have better power, so they take 2 wounds. The enemy then got to fight me back. However, because I flanked them, only the 1 Ball Rider in contact me there, so they don't get all of their attacks from the unit. They can only fight you with the 1 guy touching you. There's a massive decrease in the enemy potential output if you flank them. If you rear charge them, it'll be even better. They get no attacks whatsoever. You just get to hammer them for free. So that 1 Ball Rider got 2 attacks, he rolled double 1. So they did nothing. Because they lost combat, they got flanked for 1 and they lost 2 wounds, so they lost by 3. They had to roll a discipline check. So that's what that discipline stat does. So take whatever your discipline is. The Ball Riders has a dismal discipline of like 6 or something. Subtract how much you lost by, and that's what you have to roll. They had to roll a 4 or less on 2 dice. They rolled a 5, which isn't bad, but that's still not good enough. They failed their discipline check, they run away, they run directly away from the enemy unit they're facing, which is me there, and they go straight off the field. So Boar Riders, no more, we've defeated them. No charges, so we'll just skip it. Right, so the Orc Warriors here continuing to threaten my crossbows. Again, I'm happy to shoot and scoot. Kill another 2, very good. Can I escape? Now, the benefit of the crossbows is that they're very nimble with their swift ability, so I should always be able to get around and away from these. Like so. Here's a cake. Okay, with that, I can now put you up here. I can either have Lerny rear charge them, or I can have the Witches and Callista rear charge them. I think Lerny had the chance, so strategically putting Lerny into their back would be the better option, so I'm just going to show you why. But I think I might try with the Witches just to give them a go, because they haven't been able to do anything yet. So we're going to charge, so he can go into the rear, or they can go into the rear. Let's use the Witches here. Have a chance to show off. You can't charge multiple units into the same arc, so Learning here can't charge the rear arc because it's already taken. You could put him into the side if you wanted, but we're not in a position to do so. Otherwise, not a lot to do. You cannot shoot into an engaged combat, so my crossbows can't target the Orc Warriors. And just in case you hit your own guys, presumably, you just move out the way, and I'll try and get maybe you over to hit them in the flank if they're still there. Probably not, but worth being safe. Okay, another round of combat. Now, Callista's going first. She is a mage, she's a priestess, so she's not really designed for close quarters fighting, but she can still get her 2 attacks. She has better skills, so she's skilled, but then doesn't have a lot of power, so they just bounce off. More importantly are the witches. Now, witches have 2 attacks each because they're armed with 2-handed, which is great, so, but that's only for the front arc, so 2, 4, 6, 8 attacks, and then the ones at the back get 1 each, so 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We have better skill. We start at skill 5, which is exceptional. They're a highly skilled unit, and the enemy's only skilled 3. Being higher skill, more than 1 over, doesn't change, it's still 3+. The only way you can go beyond 3+ to hit to 2+ is with magic items and stuff, so we're just going to have to be happy with 3+. We do, however, have the Frenzy ability. So on the first round of combat, re-roll all our attacks, which means we're going to roll 3+ to hit, and then after that, any misses, so any 1s or 2s, we're allowed to try and roll them again to try and convert them back into a hit. So I'll show you what that looks like. There's 11, which is actually 12, so we did. And then the enemy gets their save, but they're poisoned, so again I'll explain what happened there. So that any 6s they roll, they're then forced to re-roll because our blades are poisoned, they've got venom on them, so I know it just represents the save not going through. So they had a couple 6s, and then they had to re-roll them, and they converted into failures, so enough orcs died that they just gave up and ran. Victory achieved, you win a bunch of gold, so a flat amount of gold at the top, and then you get experience for all of your guys, so Callista, the Witches, crossbows, and the Hydra all got a little bit of experience, no levels yet, we'll get those later. If you took any casualties, you might have a little bit of passive regeneration, but obviously we're fine in this instance. And you get a choice, you can either rest units or take loot. Now, for our purposes, I want as much gold as possible, so the max HP ones are obviously just going to take the extra gold, because we can't heal them. The Witches are honestly fine at their current strength. If you get them into a flank or rear, they should break whatever you touch, so yeah, we'll just take the gold for now. Good. Perfect first battle. We'll generate as much gold as possible to sustain 0 casualties. So we'll keep the momentum going, go straight into the next fight against roaming brigands. Okay, they're going first, which is fine. Now, as the picture kind of gave away there will be a unit of archers tucked away somewhere. There'll be an infantry in the centre and archers on one of these flanks. What I really want to do is put my Hydra in front of the archers, so the archers keep targeting the Hydra. There's a special reason for that, and I'll go why in a moment, but I've got to predict then, which side do you think the archer's going to be on? I think they'll be there. Maybe they'll tuck, if they tuck themselves there, they'll be kind of stuck behind all of this terrain. It'll be easy to get around. So just in case they are there, what I'll do is I'll put my guys into kind of safety behind this cover. And I'll put my Hydra here with the hope that I can just run it forward and get it in the way as quickly as possible. It's on that side, good. So if I'm lucky, I can be the biggest nuisance to the Hydra as possible. They're going first with those, which is fine. So what I'll do, the AI tends to target whichever is the closest thing it can hit. So if I just do this, just stick the Hydra directly in the way. So you can stand there, that's good. And I don't actually tend to engage these swordsmen, so I'm just going to have you stand there. And then next turn I can have you charge beyond the swordsman range, I hope. That'll do. Please target the Hydra. Yes, excellent. So the enemy shot me, which is fine. They're just humans, not very skilled, and it's long range, so they're suffering some penalties to hit. So only 2 hits, only 2 sixes. I get my save, power 3, defense 5. I take no damage. So I won't show off the Hydra special ability yet, but it is the most durable thing I have, so fair enough. I can't target the swordsman yet, so just start working these archers down. Return fire. We're higher skilled, we're elves, we're fancy, so we're going to do more damage to them. And I'll start positioning around this bit of terrain to hit those later. And then you probably want to get out of the way of that annoying archer unit as well. I just don't want them targeting me. I can shadow bolt later, I've got time. No 2. No charges, so we'll skip the charge phase. I mean, we could do that, but we're not going to. I'd much rather show those archers who's boss. They come forward, which is okay. Now, what I'm hopeful is that I can zip right by that annoying combat unit. I can. Now, a tip that you can safely stand in the charge radius of ranged units because they will never declare a charge against you. They'll just stand there and hit you, so perfectly fine to do that. They're going to hit me more accurate this time because I'm closer, so I'll probably take some damage. Oh no, I took 2 wounds. How terrible. I've gone from 3 to 5. With the Linnaean Hydra, we don't particularly care because as you've seen from the bottom left here, it has fangs, great power, it's fearless, it doesn't suffer minuses, and it has regeneration. Unit recovers all missing wounds at end of turn. So all of those wounds we just took from the archers will disappear at the end of the turn. I'll go back up to 5. Effectively, against small arm, like archer fire and things like that, the Hydra is basically invincible. They'd have to get all 5 wounds in a single volley to kill it, which is, I mean, it would be statistically miraculous if they managed that, and I'd be really annoyed, but it's effectively a non-threat. So we'll move around here and start harassing these swordsmen. Yeah, they're quite tough, they're defense 4, so it's going to take a while to kill through them, but we'll manage it. I'm going to avoid standing this difficult terrain, the reason being is that it halves all your movement, it slows you down terribly, so I'm not going to stand in there, I'm just going to come over here and shadow bolt them. Power 4 against defense 4, they have save of 4+, so I kill 2 more. Again, so this poor swordsman are going to have to make a choice between targeting one of these. I can just, having an extra unit on the enemy is a massive advantage because you can easily outposition them. So here, put the Hydra in to start eating archers. They look delicious, don't they? Ooh, snack time, Lerny. Before they come, they're coming after my poor witches, but why would I ever allow you to reach them? One less swordsman in the world. And then here, so we're in range, so obviously we don't want to allow them to charge me, so I'll shoot my shadow bot off first. 2 less, yeah, running out of numbers, and then just kind of get you out of the way. No reason to take them on if I don't have to. Easier to go this way, actually. Yeah, we're safe. Start twisting around for later when I want to reach them. Perfect. Okay, they're these munching archers, so we have better skill than them again. And we're power 6 against defense 3, so that will change the role I'll show you in a minute. So 3 hits, that's fine. 6+. So when power is 3 or more greater than the enemy's defense, their save is reduced again from 5+ all the way down to 6+. So it represents power being overwhelmingly superior to enemy defense. They have a 1 in 6 chance, a very slim chance of saving hits. So they rolled well. They rolled 5, 3, 5, but none of those are 6. None of them are good enough. 3 archers just got munched. They hit me back with all of their attacks. They get 4 hits, 3 up save. I take 2 wounds, which is actually 0 wounds because I just regenerate. They hold on, fine, I'll just keep eating them as we go across. 5 of 5, they'll never actually hurt Lerny. No charges, why would I want to engage swordmen with crossbows? Yeah, again, they're just wasting time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the crossbows right here, right behind them, with the hope that they turn around and try and catch me. If not, fine, I can just keep shooting them. If they insist on sticking on my witches here, then I can just keep firing at their back. There's no extra damage or anything for getting behind a target and firing like this. There's no reward, so you might as well just keep shooting them. Makes no difference. Just get out of the way again. Lerny continues lunchtime. Another 4 hits. Now, I've lost my extra power. I've gone down because I haven't charged this turn, so I'm down to 5. So they save on 5+, but they roll terribly anyway. They lose another 3. And those last 2 archers have wisely decided it's probably time to go. Charges, thank you. Okay, they finally decide to turn around. It's a bit late, guys, but never mind. Because they did that, I can then easily put the witches into their rear arc. Like so. So you can hover over them. I can clearly see them. The majority of my unit is the rear, so some of it's inside, that's good enough. And Lerny's just going to stand there and cheerlead. Cheer them on. There you are. I mean, I could put them into the flank actually if I was being really mean about it. Yeah, go on, why not? So they've charged me because I knew they would, but because I can intercept them with flanks and rear charges, yeah, let's just bully them. Get in there and completely chew them apart. We're going to skip this because the crossbows can't do anything. Into the combat phase. Now, if you know a combat is going to be pretty farcical, and that these three swordsmen literally can't do anything, if they wound the Hydra, just regenerate. So you can just hold the spacebar to do this quickly. So Callista does none. Lurny eats 3 and kills the unit. Takes no damage. And then the witches get to fight for academic purposes. They do another 6 wounds to the 3 dead guys. Well done. Doing excessive wounds to dead units like that can sometimes matter. If you're engaged with multiple units, it still counts for the purposes of combat resolution. So calculating what the enemy has to roll to stay in a fight. But in that case, we're just overkilling for fun. So we won again, no casualties, max goals for 64. We've got enough experience with some of our guys to level up now, which is cool. So our crossbows have leveled. Let's see what that looks like. So when you level, you get a choice. You can either take any one of these 3. Discipline is pretty much the worst upgrade in all instances, because the only reason discipline would ever come up is if you're losing combats and you need to roll a check. You don't particularly want to be playing the game in such a way that you have to roll those checks, so avoid that. So we can either do veteran accuracy, reroll our 1s, or 3 more of them. I like veteran accuracy for now because I don't have to waste time regenerating the unit. 13 guys is amazing, and overall I think would be better damage, but I'm just going to stay with the small unit for the time being. We can pick that up later. And then Lurny also leveled up. Right. You take an extra attack, an extra skill, and an extra gold. So the extra +5 gold means every time you take that looter option, it generates +5 more. That's pretty amazing on the Hydra because it regenerates every single time. You would effectively, every single time throughout the campaign, should be pressing the gold button on the Hydra. Because even if it dies in a fight, it will have 1 health. You'll start the next battle with 1 turn will pass, and then it'll instantly regenerate back up to full again. There's no real reason to, unless you're scared of it being systematically sniped at that first turn when it's only got 1 wound left. Basically, it's always going to be full HP. So the skill is obviously go from 4 to 5. It's not immediately the most useful thing because, I mean, if you're encountering skill 4 stuff, it will help you hit more consistently. But that would be, you probably value the attack more. Ordinarily, I just go straight for the attack, go from 5 to 6. For what I'm using Lurny for, I honestly think you can get away with the 5 attacks for now without too much concern. So I'm actually going to go. We'll have enough gold. We can pick the lid. Let's just go. He's our primary aggressor. I'll have you got 6 heads. So let's just have you 6 attacks. How many heads does the? Well, I was about to ask how many heads the Hydra has in the stories. I don't. Lots is the answer, isn't it? Lots and lots. So no casualties. So just take gold on everyone. Great, because we're going to have a load of cash anyway. We might as well increase our damage output in case we encounter anything a bit tough. Dice and SOVL are mathematically fair. I just cursed to be against you. So we're going first. It's all scouts again, so same principle. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be a bit cheeky and try and predict where that annoying... this is an instance where maybe shifting you out of the way of the stupid terrain piece there might be a good idea, so I'm not in it being slowed down. It depends where they are. If they're there, it might be a hassle to reach them. I might just have you... While I'm in the terrain, I will be a bit slower because I can't quite get out of it. I'm too large. Look, I'm a very large Hydra. Okay, Leo. So he's either there and will charge this way, at which point I guess I can just run away, and then Lenny will be able to intercept them somewhere, you would hope. They're on this side. Okay. I'm going first, which is okay. I can just kind of stall with the switch unit. I'll send you around the flank here. I can't use Shadow Bolt yet. That's okay. They use that first, so they get to there, which is a bit awkward for them. They're not going to be able to hit me yet, so I'm just going to move you a touch out of the way. Not too far, because I want to be able to reach them, and I might not be able to do it this turn. If I'm putting the Hydra on them to fight them, I might as well just start shooting this one instead. Doing a couple extra wounds here doesn't make much of a difference. I don't think the Hydra's going to quite catch it this turn. Because, yeah, this is what I thought. So because I can't touch these woods, I can't see beyond them to declare the charge, so this happens. So I can see into the terrain, but not beyond it. So they're actually not visible to me for the purposes of this turn. So, but next turn I should be able to get onto them, no problem. No charges now. They inch forward a touch just so they can see me. I'm curious as to where that unit goes. It could, in theory... Okay, what I'll do to make sure that annoying Orc Warrior unit has the lowest possible chance of catching me and getting in the way of my plan here, I'm going to put you right over this flank and get you as tight to the side as I can. Right, so I can clearly see them. I'm in the terrain now. I can catch them there and flank them. So the hope is that they're trying to come over here and catch one of these. Obviously, I can just throw you forward, distract them. We're rerolling ones now, so only one's reroll gives us another chance. Kill a few more Orc Warriors, very good. Thunk, 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 go the crossbow bolts. And we'll more shadow bolt. All the bolts, magic and physical alike. Getting another 2. Poor Orcs. Here we go again. So same as the first battle. And it's gonna chomp some bacon. Delicious. Right, did they? That's annoying. They've managed to move into such a position where they can see the Hydra. So if he's locked in combat here, he's stuck, they'll end up flanking me this turn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do as much damage to them now while I can. 8 hits, fantastic. Need 2 more. I'm going to back away. I'm going to have you come up and hit them in the side. Two less, good. So they can try charging me there, but I can probably just flank them anyway. Right, here we go. We now have 6 attacks because of defensive mastery, and we've still got better skill than them, so 3+ to hit. 4 hits, and we have better power to their defense, so they take all 4, they're save on 5, so they take all of them. 2 attacks back from the one who can hit me, dealing a wound, which is 0 wounds, don't worry. They'd have to roll unbelievably well to stay in the field there. They don't, and they run away. Now they're going to charge me here. Theoretically, what I could do is intercept them and bring that to an end. The strategically best move here, however, is actually not to do that. It's to flee the Hydra. So whenever you're charged like this, if your movement is better than the enemy's movement, you can escape them. You can opt to flee. The reason I'm going to do this is because, yes, I could intercept them, but it gives them an opportunity to start killing my witches, which, why would I allow them to do that when I can just flee this Hydra? They'll fail to reach me. This will happen. And then I can put the witches into their back arc in the next turn. Perfect. And I get a round of using ranged attacks on them as well. Obviously a bit cowardly for the Hydra there, but that is by far and away the best strategic play. We've reduced our hit roll to 4+ because they're in cover. That little thing gives it away, so they're benefiting from the tree line they're hiding in. We'll try and rally the Hydra. Yeah, it comes back anyway. The benefit of fleeing a unit that's better movement than your aggressor is that you'll flee beyond their range, so they won't be able to kind of subsequently charge you next turn as well, which is safe. Now we can take that, and there's guaranteed 0 casualties because they can't hit me. It's a better version of the same engagement, so you can use the flee mechanic to your benefit there. Okay, here we go. Callista does no hits. It's not really what she's for. The witches, however, hit on 3+ re-rolling. 12 of 13, and their save. The 6s are forced to reroll, so they only kill 3 of them. Well, it's enough to rout them this turn. So even if they hold here, which they do amazingly, the fight is over. Once it moves to routing this turn, the enemy has sustained so many casualties that they're just going to pack it in. They've decided that's enough for today. We've clearly got our teeth kicked in. It's time to go home. So perfect. Right, our sorcerer is now leveled, our priestess. Okay, extra wounds, extra discipline, or shadow bolt. Now, these are atrocious. So discipline again, only if you're losing combats, which you never want to be doing, so avoid that. Wounds on characters are very niche in their value. When you're being targeted and attacked and you're in a unit, it's the defensive properties, so the defensive wounds of the unit that get used for the calculation. So the only reason the wounds would come up is if every single witch with Callista died and she was the only one left. The exception is when there's a duel happening. So if you engage an enemy regiment that has its own lord, another character in it, the 2 characters will enter a duel, at which point their individual stat lines do actually matter. But why would we ever put a priestess into a duel? That's not what she's for. So we're going to take Greater Shadow Bolt, upgrade Shadow Bolt to range 5, power 5 and 24. So more power, more range. I'm using it every game, so it's perfectly reasonable. Right, and then the witches. So they get flat gold. Slavers, unit earns 1 gold per enemy killed in combat after each battle. So yeah, we can actually intentionally farm gold by throwing them in. It's a question, so would we earn 5 or more gold than just taking this? Maybe, maybe not, and then maybe that would be best for damage output, but I think it's thematic for our Darkborn, our Dark Elves here, that we are pretty evil. We're going to be selling dudes off at the market. So yeah, we're going to go with that. And then no casualties again, so cash, 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 please. We have generated the maximum amount we probably could, with the exception of taking looter on these 2 units. So we could, in theory, could have 10 more if I went with the true greediest option. Let's see if that would make a difference in our first shop. Right, we can buy a Pegasus mount for Callista, a unit of Raptor Knights, or another unit of Witches. Interesting choices. Now, the Pegasus would be cool. Obviously, I wouldn't use her for the purposes of really getting into combat and hitting things, but it does make her hyper maneuverable, and she serves as an admirable distraction unit, so she can kind of kite around guys and throw off her attacks. The spells she's got aren't great. Frost Ward's not amazing. Shroud's not particularly great either, so we'll ignore those. The Witches get amazing upgrades, so I'll definitely buy those for some of these as well. So we're just going to make a choice here. The Raptor Knights are probably the best choice, I'm going to be honest, but we played with the... Last time we played Darkborn Elves, we played all cavalry. We had as much cavalry as we could possibly take. So I'm going to avoid taking them this time because it's a bit repetitive. So a choice between the Pegasus and the Witches, and I mean the Pegasus is cool, so I'm just going to go with that. Yeah, we can immediately get Windmane here, Dark Pegasus. We can buy Plate Barding, which I think is pretty crucial because Pegasus is currently defense 5. So by buying the Barding, I can move it up to defense 6. Defense 6 is an amazing breakpoint because all the power 3 stuff that's shooting at you, so a lot of small arms like bows and arrows and stuff, you can save against it on a 2+, which means they'll basically bounce off of you most of the time. So otherwise, we've got some cash to spend on upgrades. Our Witches can buy a Curse Standard, so for 1 a turn, the unit has +1 attack, so go nuts with your attacks number, and the Banner of Fury. The only thing that Witches don't really have going for them is attack power. They're only power 3, and they don't get anything on the charge or anything. So by doing that, I can get myself up to power 4, which is great because it changes a lot of the calculations for a lot of attacks, so I think that's a good idea. And then 30, we have 107 gold left. I'd like the Banner of Swiftness on the crossbow, so improve their movement by 1. I use them to kite things, so we want to kind of get around and not be hit, so that's good. Otherwise, I'll War Banner is +1 score. We should win combat anyway. Banner of Valor, reroll discipline checks. I'm not putting crossbows into combat, so who cares? The Banner of Mist is the only one I might consider. Unit counts as being in cover, but if I use the Hydra correctly, I should be able to get the Hydra in the way of most enemy shooting, so I'll leave that on the table and conserve my gold for now. Good, here we go. There's our new army, so Callista on Windmane there, flying around, shadow bolting things and being a nuisance. Maybe you can do some rear charging just to get in the way of things. It's not weak by any stretch. Power 5, 6 on the charge with 3 attacks hits. Pegasus is a lot better in fighting than she is, so you might, if in a push, you could get into close combat. Now for our next path, yes, there's an elite there, which would be nice, but it gets you stuck on a really unfortunate path with an event. So we're going to go up here. We're going to take... Would you actually benefit from coming down this way? We get 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and one of them is an elite. So yes, our original plan of up this way is definitely the way to go. So we'll go into this battle against a Goblin War Party. So lots of small numbers now. They're going first. Now there's a couple of things this could be. It can either be a double hound build, or it could be the archers. I think the picture gives away that we're going to be facing a lot of Goblin cavalry, which is basically Goblin riding walls, which is cool. So what I'll do is I put you kind of on the extreme sides here. I'll put you in the middle because I want you to tank anything coming our way. I'll hide the crossbows behind this terrain in case they're getting shot by something. You can just kind of sit here and wait to see what opportunities present themselves. Right, so we've got, yeah, a lot of hyper-fast stuff going to be charging at us. Trolls, which are a serious nuisance I have to consider. So they have no shooting whatsoever, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass. When the enemy outnumbers you by a lot, obviously the game works on a turn-by-turn basis, but it's kind enough to balance in such a way that if they have a lot more units than you, it's not going to give them a load of free turns. Rather, you can pass to kind of make up for the numerical difference. So they move the goblins. Right, I want to see where these wolves move, really, because I want to intercept them. The trolls are annoying to shoot at because they're defense 5, but more importantly, like my Hydra, they also have regeneration, and I've got 3 wounds each. So unless you can kill a troll outright with 1 shot, it will just end up healing to full anyway. So is there any way I can do that realistically, do you think? I could try with the crossbows here. I guess it's worth a go. What I can do is I can hit into the terrain just so I can see beyond it. So I can't see. I can. I've now reached the terrain, so stand there. We'll take our shot. 10 of them, 3 up, re-rolling 1s is pretty good hit odds. It comes down to what they roll for their save. Now we roll terribly. Yeah, we do 2 wounds, which is tragic because it's effectively 0, isn't it? We've done nothing. And then we'll just back away from this. Or these come. So I can probably intercept them with the Hydra. The downside is I need to see where these go in order to pull that off. what I might do is move the witches up here and then flee. So that they'll charge, if I stand right on the edge of their charge range, they'll be able to declare a charge against me, but then I should be able to run away. Maybe not from the Wolf Riders, they're quite quick. I'll see. I'm just doing this because I want to force these units to move so I know what I'm dealing with. You get to there, which is annoying because it's kind of hard to get around you. I guess what I could do is I could put the Priestess kind of tucked into the back corner here. Yeah, let's use our Shadow Bolt now. Six. Okay, so they rolled annoyingly well to keep their guys alive. I don't think even with, so move 20 is the max movement except with some special exceptions, so yeah, I can't quite get it over the terrain. If I go to 19.8, that doesn't work, 19.7, daisy. That gets me clear, but I'm visible to that goblin unit. There's another unit in the back there, so I guess I could hedge my bets and see if they don't take the, so yeah, that doesn't work, I'm afraid. Slightly further away, 19.7. So this works, but you are just about visible, which is a shame. I mean, worst case scenario, I could just flee with her and she'll go off the field, which is unfortunate, but it's better than letting these things hit me. Yeah, they're going to, I thought that would happen, they're going to ignore them and come around here, which should, if I'm lucky, leave enough of a gap for Lerny to squeeze in here and get a nice flank. So we've got to be careful, so let's have a look. I can't be seen by this unit, or this unit, or this unit, so I can't be charged and intercepted by anything. Those Goblin Wolf Riders are there for the taking. Yeah, we're happy with that. I think I can hit them freely. Perfect. So because I stalled and had them kind of move other units, I eventually got to a point where they couldn't stop me. They're going to charge me? Absolutely not. Intercept them. That's all the charges I want for this turn. You might end up being flanked by that big block in a second. There's not much we can do about it. I'm going to pass because they can't shoot me, so they've made a terrible decision. They've moved them into a position where if I break this unit of Goblin Wolf Riders, I'm going straight into their back with the Hydra next turn. Dear oh dear AI. Right, these haven't moved yet, which is obviously quite worrying because I'm running out of space to wiggle around now. What I'll do is I'll put the witches over here on the basis that they're probably going to still be there. So I need to charge them with something. They've turned to face me, which is okay. I can safely tuck you away here, away from the Wolf Riders, because these are going to get intercepted by the witches, so I can just stand here. Try again, see if you can kill one of them. Much better. Roll 3 1s and 2s. Yes, we got one. Excellent. So it makes it easier to break them, I suppose. They are completely trying to surround poor Callista here, but good news, I've got the movement such that we can just do this. This is the massive benefit to having our Pegasus. Before I fly over, I'm going to stop. I'm going to shoot my Shadow Bolt and then move, because I'm not going to be able to turn around on the other side. There you go, filling one. And then fly over. So this is the why I took the Pegasus. It's not great for direct combat, however it can mess up the enemy AI, no question. So here we go, better skill to the enemy, so 3+ to hit, 6 attacks, and 5 times. Now power 6 against defense 3, so only 6s count, killing, doing 4 wounds. They hit back, doing 1, which is no damage. They should break with their terrible discipline. Yep. Goodbye. Here we go. So I might lose some witches to this, but it's worth it, I suppose. And you can go straight into the rear of a goblin mob. There are no other charges. That's perfect. So to face me there. What I'm going to do, because this is the only combat they're likely to engage in, I'm going to use my Curse Standard. Unit with +1 attacks this turn, so it reads 3 attacks, but again, remember, that's only the front rank. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So I might get bonked by a troll and lose 1 or 2, but I'm hopeful that I can do enough damage to break them this turn. This is unfortunate. The Goblin Wolf Riders have had enough of my flying around and annoying them, so they're sending this unit around to hit my poor Hydra. I would really rather they not do that, so what I might do this turn is position you in such a way that I can flank them. So again, I'll use my spell on the weakened unit, might as well just working them over. It looks like you missed, but it's 3 guaranteed hits, so don't worry. Get 1 less, that's good. They rolled incredibly well for their saves there, so I'll move you to there, out of the way of that unit, and I'll have you twist around to intercept them. It's the best combat. Yes, it means I'm going to have to throw my character into combat, but never mind. They rally, which is a ton annoying, so what I'll do to rectify that is I'll have you come over and start shooting them. These rerolling 1s. Okay, good. You can easily shoot and kill the last one next turn. Here we go. So I'm fairly confident I'll win. Better skill, re-rolling 6s. Yeah, and then I get 3s, but re-roll the 6s, so they're all dead. But it's a question of that one troll gets 3 attacks, hitting me twice, and I've got low defense, so I'm probably going to... Yeah, these two. Ah, well. I can heal them back up. Alright, learning into the big brick. It's kind of okay. Kills 3. They can't hit back, but they have a lot of ranks. They might hold. Note they're goblins, they have terrible discipline, they're still running. We're charging me there. I would really rather not do that, so I'm going to put a stop to that. I could recharge the Goblin Fighters right now, but I think it's worth more having this unit active so I can have it do more useful things. The Goblin mob may or may not rally. I'm happy to stand there and wait and see what they do, so I'm just going to ignore all of this. Okay, yeah, our plan was to shoot you anyway. 8 of 10 hits, pretty good. Yeah, take 5 wounds and die 2.5 times over. And I'll have you turn and start coming back this way to deal with this. They move into a position where they can't do anything, which is great news for us. You're in a bit of an awkward spot. I'd like to get you around into their flank if they rally. They do rally, okay. So I can have Lerny do it, or I can have them go into... I'm not going to put them into the side because they get 4 attacks. There's a lot of mobs, so yeah, I'll probably just have you charge them in the rear again. Just keep breaking them. Okay, this awkward combat now. They can't hit me back, so I'm really hoping this turn with the Goblin's terrible discipline I can break them. So any damage you can do, Callista, is worth its weight in gold. 1 wound from you, excellent, and then the Pegasus. 3 of 3 hits, great, and it's got amazing power. Oh, they do great in combat. 4 wounds and a 3 in the flank, so win by 4. Unless they roll double 1, I've got them. Fantastic. You have to be very careful about what units I pick and choose to charge in there with, because they're not great in damage output, but against that I can manage. Well, they come again, so what I should probably do, they may rally, so I'll just do this first. I'm going to end up putting them into their back again, aren't I? They also rally, so I have to contend with those as well. Can I get the witches into their back, do you think? Depends how fast I am. I'm a bit too close to the enemy unit here for this to work, so I need to go a bit wider angle. Nope, that doesn't work. So I can get to here, but I can't see them, is the hassle. I don't think this is quite gonna... I don't quite have the movement to get to a side arc. Or it's all going to be side, isn't it? Yeah, overwhelmingly side. So I'll take a side charge, I guess, or I can just ignore them and not charge. And then the archers here, they'll get stuck in place when I hit them, so I'll get you out of the way here, so you don't have to worry. Let's go ahead and reduce that unit. Help you kill them all when you go in. Good, and then you can easily kill that one off when you go in and hit it. So this one is going to have to make a choice. Either it faces the witches, at which point I can just shoot them. Yeah, eat another 4 goblins, delicious. What do goblins taste like, do you think? You'd imagine they'd be a bit stringy. Put a stop to that. You're about to be Pegasused. They're going to face me there, that's fine. Just gives me a chance to do this. I suppose worst case scenario, if I can't escape their radius with the witches, I can just hit them in the back with the crossbows. They might be enough to break them. They rally again, that's endearing. Just get you out of the way. There's no reason to ever stop kiting them. Just easily shoot to death. Yep, it's a buffet for you this turn, Learning. I do hope you enjoy the taste of witches, and Callista kills it. I'm sorry, Callista, I've been underestimating your combat prowess. You're massacring these poor goblins. Again, if you please. They turn to face my crossbows this turn. 10 of 10 hits. My crossbows weren't fond of that, killing them both. That's it. I mean, the only thing I could in theory do is maybe get you up here to flank later if they for some reason hold. Oh, double 6. They might hold this turn. But again, they're never going to be able to kill the Hydra, so don't worry about it. No, they have dismal discipline. We're just going to keep running. You know, flank rear charging goblins almost certainly means they're going to break and run. So I lost 2. I got 1 back for free, which is nice, and I'll go ahead and heal to get up to a better size. So 11 of 14 is pretty good. Everyone else is healthy, so gold, 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 please. So, great. I've got 11 witches. Now, what you can do with these units is you can change their orientation. with the witches, remember, they can only fight in 2 ranks. So that one back there is basically not doing anything. So better to be oriented like this so you get more attacks. Specifically, it's very beneficial for them because they get the extra attacks in the rank, and Curse Standard only fights that rank as well. So effectively you go from, if I pop Curse Standard, you've gone from 15 in the front rank plus 5 at 20 to 18 in the front rank, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. You've added 3 attacks by doing that on that turn. That's well worth a little reshuffle there. Otherwise, let's have a peek at what this random event is. Mercenary Commander. The Dwarf Engineer riding a flying contraption offers the services for coin. No thank you. I mean, it's very cool. It's a highly versatile unit flying machine, but it's a role kind of fulfilled by my Pegasus and Priestess at this point, and I don't want any filthy dwarves accompanying my elves. They don't wash, they kind of smell, and they're very slow and stunty. So no, it's a Dark Elf only kind of run, so we'll stick with that. We'll just go into the next battle. I should try using the witches in combat a bit more because they generate gold for me. But they are very fragile, so I'm very picky with where I do and do not put them into combat, otherwise they're just going to die. It's basically a choice. Is it really worth putting them in to get the Slaver gold if you then don't get to press the loot button at the end of the fight and instead have to heal them? You get like 7 from the loot button pretty consistently, so it might not be worth it. But I've learned in the middle to hit things. I don't think there's anything shooting at us. No, it's just a bunch of orcs, so they'll come forward and get intercepted, hopefully. I'll have you fly around and be a menace in the sides again. So what I'm hopeful is that if I can tempt these into... they can easily be charged and killed, so I'm actually going to start working over the big brick here with ranged attacks. 2 die immediately. I'm going to stall until I see where that goes. If I'm unlucky, they'll do it. No, I've got numerical advantage on them. They had to go first, so I can see where they position themselves. You can come forward. Eventually I'll get someone into a rear arc. Good, I know where that's landed, so easy enough job to get Lernie into the flank. Perfect, like that. We can see them, they can't stop us. That's the 3rd unit. That's absolute bacon devouring this game for Lernie's just loving this campaign. So you'll get to there and then may get stuck facing these brutes. So what I might do, I'll shoot this turn, but I'm going to start moving you around this way to pester the brutes so they don't focus down my poor Hydra too much, because they are the most threatening thing they have. They could, in theory, kill me in a turn. So we'll just run up here. So this is actually easier for us to deal with than the Goblin mob, because they're more elite, but there's less of them, so you can just outposition them easier. 6 ball rides, big brick infantry. So you're going to come try and hit my poor Pegasus? I don't think so. Oh, no damage, 5, 5, 6, look at those saves. And then I'm just going to fly over them. That unit may turn around to catch me. If it does, I can just get the witches on them, which I think is perfectly reasonable. No, they just come forward, fine. I don't particularly want to engage these head-on right now. I'll take far too many casualties for it to be worthwhile, so just scooch back a touch. I've got the manoeuvrability to dance around them, no problem. They're trying to get around to capture my archers, which is fine. I can just do this. Shooting at the brutes and shooting at the warriors is effectively the same thing. They've got defense 5 and they've got defense 4, but I'm power 3, so the roll is exactly the same. You don't lose any efficiency by targeting these. Here we go again. Delicious swine. They hit back twice, they do some damage. No, they do none. Okay, so poor discipline, they lose by a load. Unless they roll miraculously well, they've had it again. And off they go. It's like clockwork. Oh, they stayed on the field this time. They just kept on. Good, I might have to... Even more bacon for Lernie in a second. Okay, so let's get charges. Yes, please. Going to turn and face me there. Again, I don't care. Plop, plop. 1, 2, 3 less. There you go. I've used all my volleys now. So... Oh, what I could do, let's try this. If I put you around here, so you're going to face the Hydra of all things. Okay, well I can now get some free gold. Would I rather the big one or the small one, do you think? Just put yourself there and give a glutton for choice. How much damage would we do on average? We get 18, 23 we said on average, didn't we? Yeah, 23 attacks, and we'll be hitting on 3s we roll, which is like 88% of the time. So it's 24, 8, 16... it's hard to get about 5. It's going to be really good, 88%. It's going to be like 20 to 21 hits or something along those lines. And then power 4 on the charge because of the Banner of Fury and their defense 4, so I'll kill about 10 of them. I'll do so much damage I can actually overkill the warriors, and so I'm probably better off into this one. I can get more gold by attacking the larger squad. Yeah, and I'll just have you kite around these and pester them. You probably want to get away from those while you can. Just going to have you run up this way. Picking off the brutes. Like so. They do rally. I kind of thought they would, so I need to do something about that. I'm stuck in this bit of terrain here. Hang on. I just want to twist a bit, and then I want to get beyond their charge radius so I can turn around and hit that or unit in the spine. There you go. So I can get to there. I can clearly see them. I can't be intercepted and caught. So yeah, that's a free rear charge now. Take that one, and we'll take this one. Perfect. Now, if I was a bit smarter, what I probably would have done is I would have moved the Pegasus. I would have landed it about there. This unit is going to turn in such a way that it can face them. I'm concerned when I do this, it might turn enough to see both units, which is a slight hassle for me. I think we can get away with it. Yeah, that happened. Okay, should have been further out the way. Right, what I'll do is I'll put you into their back. Come over here. Turn to face. Like so. They're going to turn. That's a bit annoying for me because I want to now move over here and shoot that. I don't actually want to shoot you this turn. I'd much rather shoot that unit, which I can do. Good. Just to decrease their numbers a bit when I charge in. Good stuff. And then here we'll use our Curse Standard for max attacks. We're one shy of maximum attacks. Otherwise that's all shoot. Okay, here we go. So 23, 3's hit re-rolling. 15, which is actually 22, amazing, and then 4s, and they reroll their 6s, so they take 10, which is basically what we gamed out. They can't hold with that much damage, so off they go. Because I have better, I thought I was going to be able to catch them. I could just charge them again and extract even more gold. Over here, Bernie's just eating more paws, delicious. Fried bacon. 3, they hold, good, they're going to turn around, and probably achieve nothing, because they can't really hurt me. They charge me there. I would really rather not do that. Oh no, because you're locked in combat, I can't save. The Hydra might die here. Good news is I don't particularly care because it's just going to end up healing to wounds anyway. Last, they caught me. Okay, will this go our way, do you think? 5 warriors. Even if it doesn't, there'll be so few of them left, I can probably just beat them to death subsequently. So yeah, just come forward and extract more gold from this unit. Otherwise, this might be a bit of a disaster, so I'll just have you in such a position to shoot these. Well, careful, because they might be able to reach you to charge you. I think it's a bit late now. Yeah, if the Hydra's dead, that is just going to end up getting a... I could probably hide behind this unit, that might do it. It's not a terrible idea. Here we go. Just do what damage you can, learning while you can. Okay, no damage from the boars, and this is a bit more threatening. 3 hits. 2 wounds. Okay, so I survive. The only way I die here is if I lose combat, but fortunately I'm Discipline 8 and I'm fearless. So all of those negatives that I incur for losing the combat don't count to ignore discipline checks. So as long as I don't roll incredibly poorly, I'll be okay. I'm okay. Good, I hold. I can just keep chewing them as I go along. There you go. Callista's going to bonk some warriors, or not. Pegasus does a bit better. They hold and survive. Ah, they hold on as well. That's irritating. You might take some damage. Kill them. Do you want to just charge the crossbows into the back? I mean, I might as well. They can't hit them, and they can just add combat resolution, so it increases our odds of not losing. I'm not concerned about the Hydra dying. It's the discipline checks that scare me. Wait, if you fail a discipline check and you're surrounded like this on 2 ends, you don't run away. Rather, you just die on the spot. So it simulates the unit being surrounded by enemies. There's nowhere for them to run. They just die. 6 of 6 learning has had enough of this rubbish and is just going back to work and killing them. 3. Ooh, took 3 damage. We might die here. It's enough. Yeah, they did get it. Okay, so I'm hopeful you do 2 here so you don't lose combat. Okay, we do win. Huzzah. Yeah, okay. They hold, so now I'm going to take a load of damage on you because they just hold on. Ugh. They're doing just enough to be a nuisance about it everywhere. Yeah, you take 1 wound, you're fine. And they break. If I'm lucky, this might be enough to move them to routing this turn, and I don't have to take any damage on... Yes, I don't have to take any damage on the crossbows. Excellent. I did enough damage that I don't care. Perfect. So I basically got away with it scot-free. The Pegasus will... Single entities like this will always heal 1 wound minimum. So look at the Pegasus. Goes up to 5 of 5. And then learning... you've gone up from 0 to 1. At the start of the next round of combat, you're going to go from 1 to 5, or rather turn 2 effectively. So who cares? We're basically full HP. So the Pegasus leveled. Wounds, replenishment, or gold. I'm going to take the gold first. I'll take the wounds later. Take the cash on it basically every turn. It's great. The witches are fine as they are. I had the crossbows leveled again. Ooh, range. Ah, okay. So this is it's an okay-ish upgrade for now, but there's an upgrade. So it's Elf Bow Mastery 1. Elf Bow Mastery 2 is a fantastic upgrade time behind it. So we'll take this with the kind of sight of maybe getting to the super good one later on. We'll be happy with that. The Hydra leveled as well. Wounds, gold, replenishment. Replenishment is literally the most useless thing ever on a regenerating unit. You're just fine. Wounds with 5. I mean, nah. I'm just going to take the gold this time. We can pick up some wounds later. You're fine and you're fine. Yeah, take as much cash as possible. Good. Okay, so we're basically full HP. Ignore the 1 wound on Lurley. He's actually fine. It's a scam. Your eyes deceive you by 1 wound. They're actually full HP. Otherwise, we are exactly where I'd like to be. Perfect. That's an excellent start. I think I'll leave that there. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed the kind of theme of a SOVL. If so, do like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel, and I do appreciate it. If you have any notes on what you'd like to see for SOVL runs or any thematically based campaign ideas, do please let me know. Or if you just want to chat down in the comment section, that's fine too. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.